So Jaron Ennis gets even closer to uh, securing a shot against Errol Spence Jr. You know, it's almost like you got Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. And you got Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. And it's like those two young guns are aiming at the old guns. And you got Jaron Ennis, looks like he's coming after Errol Spence, and you got Virgil Ortiz looking like he's coming after Terrence Crawford. And this great sport of boxing, that's a gladiator sport, that's a warrior sport, a sport that is not for the faint of heart, a sport that is blood, guts, sweat, tears. You can die in that ring, all type of stuff, right? And these boxers understand this and they know what they sign up for. This is a sport everybody knows is very brutal. At the same time, you have people that say, nah, Jaron Ennis, he's not ready for Errol yet. I've seen this comment on many boxing channels. I've seen it I was on 78 Sports TV's channel the other day looking at comments. People constantly, oh, Jaron Ennis isn't ready for Errol yet. Or Bud, don't put him in there with Errol or Bud yet. And, and I agreed with 78. And 78 said, why not? We're not getting the fights that we need to see. So why wouldn't you put them in there with Errol or Terrence Crawford? What's wrong with that? I think a lot of this, when you see those kind of comments, a lot of that comes from fanboys of Errol Spence. Even the fanboys of Terrence Crawford. In a sense, it's almost like these dudes want to protect their star, their fighter that they love and they hold dear to their heart. They want to protect them from something. And I'm saying, well, why wouldn't you want Errol Spence to fight Jaron Ennis right now? Why are you using the excuse that Jaron isn't ready? How do you know he isn't ready? It's you can kind of put this in the same context as, okay, we have a guy that we have a bully that stole someone's lunch, and then you got a guy that comes in and says, well, I'm gonna get that lunch back for everybody. I'm gonna get that lunch back for that kid. Nah, don't take that. Don't even try it, man. You can't beat the bully. You know what I'm saying? He'll destroy you. How do you know? That's why it's called a challenge. That's why this is boxing. The best is supposed to fight the best. The up and comers are supposed to feel like they can dethrone the old lions, right? So why is it that you don't want Jaron Ennis to fight Errol Spence? Is this something that you're scared of, or you're afraid that Jaron Ennis will smoke him? Is that a possibility? Whenever I see comments when they say, I don't want them to fight this person yet because they had to prove themselves. Prove themselves by doing what? This is boxing. If a young gun want to go in there and test himself against an older cat and get his ass whooped, who are you to stop that? Let that play out. Let it go the way it's gonna go. If Jaron Ennis gets his ass whooped by Errol Spence, let him get his ass whooped by Errol Spence. It's a challenge. That's why they're in the sport. If Jaron Ennis whoops Errol Spence's ass, let Jaron Ennis get the chance to whoop Errol Spence's ass. Same thing. That's the way I kind of see. Sometimes put it like this. Sometimes I say, even me, I even say, hey, look, I don't think this boxer can beat this boxer. But hell, fuck it. Let's put him in there. Do what you got to do. Let him challenge himself. Even though I don't believe he can beat this person right now, these motherfuckers just be saying, he's not ready for him. He got to prove himself. he shouldn't fight Errol Spence yet. Well, guess what? To the Errol Spence fanboys, I know you might not like it, but Jaron Ennis is going to be unavoidable pretty soon. You can't. Errol Spence is at 147. He's not undisputed yet. The only way, and then look, I'm not sure because I couldn't check the current rankings because they're not updated. I went to a couple of websites and they still have Jaron Ennis with 26 wins, I think, or 27 wins, and it still has Lipinets with 1 loss. So that means that the rankings haven't been updated. They will soon be updated, and I'm assuming that will align Jaron Ennis closer to the spot, like maybe a number 3, to face Errol Spence, ranked, I guess, number 3 at the IBF, I believe. Gotta check. I don't know if it's WBC. I believe it's the IBF. So, if he becomes Errol Spence's, if he becomes in line to potentially be a number 3 spot or something like that, Errol can choose from those top pickings. Will Errol choose Jaron Ennis? Because Jaron Ennis clearly said, I want the winner of Errol Spence versus Dennis Ugas. Clearly, Jaron Ennis don't care which one of them it is. He just wants the belt. I don't know yet if I've seen somebody. I've seen other comments also. I'm not gonna quote it, and I'm not gonna really get into that until I do some research and read on it myself. People have said that Errol Spence has came out and said that he'll beat Jaron Ennis and Terrence Crawford. So I don't know. I haven't seen that anywhere. I'm going to check in that. If that's the case, I will be making a video on that too as well. This shit got to stop, bro. This shit got to stop with boxing, man. Look, we can't deny these young boys they time, bro. If they want to get in there and tangle with these dudes, with these older cats, let them do their thing. That doesn't necessarily mean because you think he hasn't fought the competition that you wanted him to fight, that he's not ready to fight a top dog. Okay? Ocampo, he was a mandatory. Who did he beat to deserve to get, to fight Errol Spence? Who did he beat? So then Jaron Ennis isn't a better fighter than Ocampo, so he don't deserve a shot at Errol Spence. Now, if Errol Spence decides to, I'm not sure where this is going to go as far as Errol Spence and Crawford, how Errol Spence is going to become undisputed. Because he said that's his goal at 147, right, was to become undisputed. It doesn't look like the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence fight will be happening, because I don't think Terrence Crawford wants to fight as well. I honestly don't think either one of them want to fight, to be honest, man. I don't ride. I like both of them. I always said I thought Errol Spence edges Terrence Crawford out if they ever fought. But it's looking like that fight might not ever happen. I might be wrong. Maybe they'll walk everything back and they'll figure a way to make the fight happen. But right now, as it stands, the fight don't look like it's happening. So how is Errol Spence going to become undisputed if he's not going to fight Bud? Bud has one of the pieces to the puzzle. Okay? That would mean only way is if Bud drops his belt and moves up or retires or whatever, and then somebody gets the scrap for that belt for the WBO. Don't know. Who would that be? Maybe that might be Virgil Ortiz. See? So yeah, look, if Terrence Crawford doesn't fight Errol and drops the belt, Errol Spence is going to have to fight one of these young dudes sooner or later. It's going to have to be Virgil Ortiz or Jaron Ennis, one way or another, man. If Jaron Ennis gets a hold of, by some chance he gets a hold of the WBO, I don't know how that'll work. And then before a Bud or Errol Spence fight even takes place, then what? What's Errol going to do? And remember, Jaron Ennis is on Errol Spence's side of the street. So he said he wants to fight people on like he wants to make the easier fights on his side of the street. All right, I say let them fight sooner than later, man. Rather Jaron gets a belt or not, or rather Errol fights Crawford or not. I want to see these young dudes in there with these so-called best dudes, whether it be Bud or Errol. So I'm thinking a lot of these fanboys, they think Jaron Ennis might stop Errol or something like that, and they don't want to see their boy stopped. So they use that whole excuse that he didn't fight anybody yet, or he's not ready, he got to prove himself. But were you saying Ocampo should have proved himself when he fought Errol Spence? Or other fighters back then? Like, who were you saying? Were you saying this? Did you have the same energy for Ocampo? Remember, Errol Spence had the IBF. He was a champ. How did Ocampo get in line to get that chance to fight for that belt, to get that belt off Errol Spence? So that's what it's looking like to me. A bunch of fanboys that don't want to see their boy lose. So they use that hidden excuse of so-called unproven fighters that haven't fought anybody, quote unquote, just so they can keep their guy safe and keep their guy with that. It's crazy, man. It's the climate of boxing. Like, everybody afraid to lose, man. Like, as if some of the greatest don't have losses or multiple losses on their record. In a sense, sometimes you can understand it because a lot of these boxers don't want to lose their belts because they feel like their stock could go down. On the financial end, that may be a little bit true, but you in the sport to take that risk, not to avoid it, man. And then when you avoid that, and you avoid risk, people start looking at you funny. Rather you're Bud, Errol, Floyd Mayweather, it could be Boots, it could be Virgil Ortiz, it could be any boxer. That's exactly how people will start looking at you. And that's how I'm looking at a lot of these cats, man. I'm looking at a lot of these cats side eye, bro. That's just the way I'm seeing it, man. You know what I mean? I look at boxing from a different lens than a whole lot of other people do, man. But that's just me. But anyway, let me know what you think. Should Jaron Ennis get a shot at Errol Spence, being that they're both on the same side of the street? Errol likes using that same side of the street crap all the time, so why can't that happen? Why can't Jaron Ennis get a shot at the title if Ocampo, he had a chance to get a shot at the title? What has he accomplished? What has he really done? Who has he really beat? Who has he beat of any significance that had him in line for an Errol Spence fight for the IBF title? But I think eventually, if Errol doesn't move out of the division, he is going to end up running into one of these dudes. And I think it's going to end up being Jaron Ennis before it'll be Virgil Ortiz. And then he'll have nowhere to go but to fight. If Errol is as good as everybody say he is, he should destroy Jaron Ennis with no problem. Right? Get him out of there. Get that young bull out of there. Derail his career. That's not going to derail his career if he loses to somebody that's in the top. It's just a loss on Jaron's record. That's bragging rights, man, in a sense. Look, hey, I fought a top dog at my division. I lost to him. That's experience. Maybe we can run it back. That's what it is. But anyway, let me know what you think. Drop a comment, like and subscribe. Catch y'all later. Peace.